o'clock. We're going to go ahead and start with our meeting. I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight on a cold December night. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving and that you guys are ready for the holiday season. Before we get started with our meeting, if you'll please join me in a moment of silence for our town. Amen. If you'll please stand with me and face the flag and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item on our agenda is our conflict of interest statement. Al?
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, pursuant to North Carolina General Statutes and the Town of Mocksville Code of Ethics Policy, I ask each elected official that before you adopt the agenda, if you have any actual, potential, or perceived conflicts of interest with respect to any matter on the agenda. If so, please speak up and let the board know at this time before the agenda is adopted.
Okay, there is none. We will move forward. Next item is to adopt the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to tonight's agenda?
Move that we approve it.
We have a motion from Rob and a second from Jenny. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Next item is our citizen comments. If there's anybody here tonight that would like to speak about anything that might be on your mind, you've got 3 minutes to step up to the podium and state your name and speak your piece. Okay. Not, we'll close our citizen comments section, move right on to item number 5, which is our public hearing. We have to do something called a CDBG block grant hearing annually. In order for the town to make application for community development block grants funding from the North Carolina Department of Commerce, 2 public hearings are required. The first public hearing, which we refer to as generic, is only required to be held once a year. The last generic public hearing was held or expired on June 2022. Therefore, we are holding the first generic public hearing this evening, which will keep the town current for 1 year. In the event the town should decide to apply for CDBG funding over the next year, then a second public hearing will be required, which will be specific to the project and will describe the project and outline the amount of funds being applied for and the activities for which the funds will be used. So at this time, I'll be opening up a public hearing. So anybody that might be here tonight that would like to speak for or against CDBG grants can step up to the podium and speak. So if there's nobody here that would like to speak for it or against it, we'll close the public hearing, and then we will have, when we do have a grant application, we will open the public hearing for the board to approve or deny. So moving on to our next item, we have communications from boards, commissions, and agencies. Our first communications is from our annual audit, Eddie Carrick, CPA.
First of all, I want to thank the board for the opportunity to serve as your auditor again this past year, and to remind you that I do serve at your will. So anytime y'all have any concerns about the audit itself, about finances in general, I want to be considered an asset for you, so please feel free to give me a call at any point in time. LGC's still kind of trying to get all their stuff together as far as how audits are done these days and as far as their approval. And they really don't approve audits anymore, but they have to log them in. And they do not want us to issue bound copies of the audit until they have them logged in and everything. So that's why you don't have a bound copy yet of the audit. It has been submitted to them. Hopefully will be approved with them in the next few days. And if Lynn and I were talking, I'm going to send her a PDF copy of it in the morning, so that if you would like to review a copy of it before you get your bound copy, just contact Lynn and she can email you a PDF copy of it. You did receive a unqualified or a clean opinion, which is your auditor, is what you want me to be able to stand in front of you and say the fact that the financial statements that you will receive did fairly represent the books and records of the town of Mocksville for the year ending June 30th, 2024, based on the audit procedures that I applied to them. First thing that I always kind of mention to all my board, your audit report is a public document. Anybody can come and request a copy of it from the town if they would like. So if you do have any of your constituents that are concerned about the finances of the town, the very first section that they will come to in that audit is called Management Discussion and Analysis. And it's about 10 pages that, in more in layman's terms, can tell somebody about where the town has been, where the town was for this past audit, and even a little bit about where you're going in the future or whatever. So I always just mention that because that's a good reference point for somebody if they do have concerns about the finances of the town. You had an excellent year this past year. You've got my little cheat sheet in front of you. I'm just going to highlight some of the numbers there. You see total revenues were up a little over $1 million. Ad valorem taxes were up about $350,000 compared to the prior year. And there's actually two other numbers that I don't have on here that really make up the majority of that $1 million increase. One thing was sale of assets. Y'all sold the old police building this past year. So there's about $450,000 of revenue that came in because of that. And also your investment earnings this past year, normally been running $150,000 to $200,000. We're over $500,000 this past year, just because of rates being up for this past year. So those three figures really kind of make up your $1 million. You see local option sales tax still up a little bit. So revenues, still trending upward. As you look at expenditures, total expenditures up $766,000. But as you kind of look down through there, the major departments, you see a lot of what happened there was capital outlay, administration, remodeling the bathrooms this past year. Here's one of the bigger items that hit capital outlay there. And you also see probably the biggest other item as you look down through there was transportation, and that was y'all did a tremendous amount of street improvements this past year. Almost $350,000 of POW bill money used for doing street improvements, plus some other street improvements that you did. So bottom line was revenues over expenditures. If you compare back and look at last year's audit, we had ARPA funds that were transferred into. So if I take that out so that you kind of can compare apples to apples or whatever, you see that without any transfer of ARPA funds, y'all were at $1.7 million this year versus $1.4 million last year. So very good. Available fund balance right at $10 million, or approximately 160% of what your current year's expenditures are. And your ad valorem tax rate, 99 point, you're collecting almost 100% of what your taxes that y'all are assessing. So water and sewer, again, good numbers as far as that. Revenues without considering any grants or anything is up almost $600,000. But unfortunately, expenditures up about the same amount as what, and y'all know if you go to the grocery store where that's coming from or whatever kind of. But you see total expenditures, both water and sewer, up a little bit. But you did have some substantial capital improvements that were occurring within the water and sewer system. So total revenues over expenditures, $1,169,000 this year, $1,162,000 last, so within $7,000 of where you were last year as far as bottom line unrestricted cash at $7.3 million. So in good shape as far as that's concerned. Attached are the little indicators of concern, performance indicators that the LGC has come up with. I encourage you to look through that. That kind of tells you what the state treasurer's office is looking at as far as a town your size and how y'all compare maybe to what the average is. There are two red items on here. One of them we had to respond to last year, and that has to do with the fact that the water sewer assets have been depreciated below 50%. And, so I'm not sure who came up with the 50%. I'm not sure why that's of greater concern to them. I thought it might have been a one-time thing that kind of went away, but it's still on there. We use the same wording that we did last year, and I think that primarily also letting them know that we do have capital projects that are gonna be coming online here in the next couple of years, and that's gonna bump that. The other one right above that, this quick ratio water and sewer, it apparently is a malfunction on their part or whatever, because, you see it was 8%, or 8 times the year before, 10 times, or 2 years ago, 10 times last year. The actual ratio is 16 times, which basically meant in the water sewer fund, for every dollar that you owed out, you had $16 to pay it with or whatever. Why it's coming up with a negative 1% calculation, we don't know. We've been trying to figure out from them, but like I say, that's not really anything. The worst case scenario, we're gonna have to tell them what the actual ratio is or whatever, so that they won't be concerned about it.
So are they just concerned so to make sure towns don't cut out spending money on their capital funds on their water and sewer system? Is that
Yeah.
their concern?
That's, yeah, and like I say, Mayor, it's kind of funny, because when we look at that, like I say, I have no idea who came up with that. Once it gets below 50 cents, we want to kind of make the towns aware and all this, because most of your water sewer assets have 40 to 50-year lives on them. So if you're at 50%, well, you still got 30 years worth of, potential life on them out there, whatever, but apparently somebody has. But like I say, in y'all's situation, and I understand, they just want to make towns understand that your system is getting older. You're gonna have to start worrying about probably additional repairs, those kind of things, and replacing things. But y'all have a 5-year plan, and where y'all are replacing stuff anyway. And once these projects clear, once they close out and everything, and we actually start to depreciate those assets or whatever, I think y'all are gonna jump right up probably 60% or whatever. Any questions?
No questions for Eddie.
Okay, and as soon as we get, like I say, final approval, you will get your nice little bound copy. But like I said, if you want to review one or something before that time, just check with Lynn, and if she'll remind me in the morning, I will send her a PDF copy y'all can look at or whatever.
Thank you, Eddie. We appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Okay. Moving right on down the line, Chuck Willis, Willis Engineers has some project updates for our water and sewer baby.
You heard to raise your depreciation ratio.
That's what I figured.
I don't really have anything particularly new to share tonight, but the manager asked me if I would come give you an update on several of the projects that we've been talking about over the last year or more, some of which are now under construction as opposed to just being design projects. So that's kind of fun for us. There are 4 projects in particular I want to talk about. The first being the facilities to serve Breakbush. That project is almost complete. In fact, we were here last week and this week doing some checkouts and training, and I think it's almost ready to turn over to the guys to start running that facility. There are 2 projects in the north part of the system up above I-40. That's the South Point pump station, sewer pump station, and force main, and then the new elevated storage tank that's getting ready to start. And then finally, a project that is going to be a little later on your agenda to authorize us to proceed with the new interconnections and improvements with Davie County, so that when their water plant comes online in a year or so, we'll be all ready for that. So I'll go through these pretty quickly. The facilities to serve Breakbush, just as a refresher, we have built a pump station behind Breakbush that is next to the location of the old dog pound, if you know where that is, and it collects sewage from the south central part of the city and from Breakbush, and pumps it across to the pump station that goes to Coolamy. If you look at it on the service area, what we're really doing is we're diverting that area shaded in yellow which used to go to, or still goes to Dutchman's Creek Waste Treatment Plant. We're diverting it over to the Bear Creek Pump Station to send it to Coolamy. And that diverts a big chunk of flow from the treatment plant and frees up capacity for future development. As we've talked about before, there's very little opportunity to expand that Dutchman's Creek Waste Treatment Plant because it's on a tiny little creek. So if we're gonna have any additional capacity, we're gonna need to divert flow across the ridge line. And that here is the ridge line's depicted in red. So that's what that project's all about. The pump station is nearly complete. This picture was a week and a half ago. They were there putting up the fence. That's why you see the posts sticking up there. But the pump station is in and ready and running, or ready to run. It's all been tested out and ready to go. Just a few little finish out items, and then we'll get that pump station in service. So funding from this project came from a variety of sources. We just talked about CDBG projects. This was a CDBG grant, along with a grant from the Department of Commerce, some Golden Leaf money and some local money. So it's a big project. In addition to the pump station component of it, there was a water line over at Avgall, which helped improve fire flow capacity in that part of town. So that was funded by Golden Leaf. So that project is getting ready to wrap up, and we'll be taking care of the closing paperwork on that either later this month or right after the first of the year. The next two projects are both in that yellow bounded service area, which is your north service area, everybody north of I-40. The first project is the South Point Pump Station in Force Main. There's a tiny little pump station that was built, as Terry Brawley likes to joke, it was built as a temporary pump station 25 years ago. And it has run its course. It's a sketchy little thing, but it's working. And Brian and the guys keep it band-aided together. What we're doing is basically replacing it in this almost the same location with a pump station that has significantly higher capacity and will have significantly higher reliability. So here's the site plan I shared with you some time back. They didn't really have a whole lot of pictures to show you, but now they're at least underway. You see that big circular wet well structure on the left, and the guys are down there underneath putting in pipe the day I took this picture. So that basically the site improvements are done, and we're getting ready to start all the mechanical equipment that goes into the pump station. It'll look similar to that other pump station I just showed you. The pipeline work is all finished. They have already installed all of the pipeline and had it tested. So we're just waiting for the mechanical work for the pump station. So this project was approved by the regulatory agencies last spring. You took bids on it in May. The state gave us the go-ahead to proceed in June. Our contractor is BRS Incorporated out of Richfield, which is a really good pipeline contractor, and they just jumped in and took off. So they are finished with the majority of their work. The subcontractor that's doing the pump station is really up to the plate now. The final completion for the construction contract is September of next year, but they're going to be finished long before that. So we expect them to be done in the next couple of months and be able to wrap that project up. So sort of a sister project to that is let's do funding first. I like to highlight this because this is one of the few times when I wasn't off on my estimate. So prices have been so crazy lately, it's really hard to guess. We had to set a budget well in advance of the bidding. The state direct appropriation through Davie County was just over 1.6, and the total project's going to come in 1.5. So finally I was right one time. And it's been a kind of a coincidence. The contractor, this great contractor, had lost a bunch of jobs in Charlotte because Charlotte pumped the brakes on a bunch of big construction projects, and a bunch of these contractors had to scramble to find work to do. And that's one of the reasons why these guys jumped on it so fast, was they had a crew they needed to put someplace. So we actually wound up with one of their top crews moving in here and knocking it out of the park, which is a really great thing. But it also meant that they were well priced. So it was good for you guys to have one that comes in under budget for a change. So the second project up north is the North Elevated Storage Tank. They're not underway with construction yet. Those projects have a time delay on them. You award a contract, and then the tank manufacturer has to wait for all of these steel components to get rolled, to get fabricated, before he really does anything. He's not underway with construction yet. The tank is this style of tank. It's what's called a water spheroid. This one's a little bit bigger than the one we're gonna build up north, but that's the basic shape of the tank, located at the intersection, Cana Road, up there, and we're gonna have a nice town of Mocksville logo on it and really make it look like a nice feature coming into town, since it's so visible. Again, that project was approved back in the spring, and we took bids on it and got approval to award the contract in the summer. We issued a notice to proceed for the contractor in September, but he's gonna have a little bit of time. We give him a pretty long construction contract since he has to wait for all that steel stuff. So this tank probably won't be coming out of the ground until spring, summer kind of time frame, and he has until February of 26 to get it finished. He anticipates being a little early as well, so that's a good thing. So, water tanks are expensive. This one is gonna cost a bit of money. So, the last project on the list is I mentioned was interconnections with Davie County. As you know, they're well underway with construction of their new water plant down in Coolamy. It's probably a year or so out before they get finished. And when they commission that plant, you will be a wholesale customer of Davie County. You'll be buying water from them at various points of interconnection. The primary point of interconnection is the booster pump station down 601 south, south of the old high school, the Lee Jeans plant. There's a big water tower down there, and right in front of it is a pump station that interconnects the county system with the town system and gives it a little boost. That pump station doesn't have a whole lot of runtime on it because it was only an emergency pump station, really. And now we're going to convert it over to full-time use. So it needs some computer upgrades and some control upgrades and a few things like that. It's in pretty good shape, but we just want to make sure it's absolutely ready for full-time use. And one of the big components of that is improving the communication systems, the SCADA system, so that we can see everything that's going on and have Davie County have an opportunity to see everything that's going on and further integrate our control systems so that those two systems work together seamlessly. So a lot of it's already in place. We just need to upgrade some of it. In addition to that, we're going to do two new interconnections between the county system and the town system in case there's a problem at the booster pump station. We want to have two backup locations that we can get water into the system. In order to do that, we have to put in meters at those locations so we can monitor the flow of water into the town system from the county system and make sure that's all done according to state standards. And they're pretty particular about that. So we have to get those two connections done in a way that meets state standards.
So where in the system will those two connections?
They're both over on the east side of town. I don't remember exactly locations. They're two places where the county has a water line and the town has a water line, and they're like this.
Okay.
Actually, one of those locations, I think they're actually connected, and there's a valve in between them that's turned off. Okay. So we've had one of those available as an emergency interconnection anyway, but we need to expand upon that and get a meter in there and get monitoring so we can tell what's going on. That's not a huge thing, and it happens a lot. We do a lot of regionalization projects. The state loves it when systems interconnect and work together, and it's really accentuated when there's an emergency, like all those things we had happen in the mountains last couple months ago, and drought situations, so that people be able to have mutual aid. We have a lot of systems that are interconnected with 3 or 4 other systems, so they can all share water. That's a good thing. Okay. So, but the rules are a little different when it's just an emergency interconnection versus a full-time interconnection. So they want you to be able to measure the flow of water, monitor pressure, and also put the sampling schedules aligned so that the county and the town are sampling it on the same frequency. Okay. So just a little bit of paperwork and a little bit of regulatory stuff to do with that. So anyway, we haven't started on this yet. With your blessings, we will begin that. It's an item on your agenda for further down, I believe, on a new business. So that's where we are. Those are our projects that are going on right now. Don't have anything else on the horizon for this foreseeable future. This is what we're where we need to be right now. I think the next big thing that we need to talk about will come up when the new water plant is commissioned, and we need to talk about what to do with the old water plant property, making sure that's safely demolished or whatever purpose you have for it. So, and then just regular stuff that Brian's guys are doing. So
it sounds like we'll be able to prove to the state that we're spending money on
So these things will all come on as assets, and then Eddie can go back and redo the math. And incidentally, I have no idea where the 50% of depreciation red flag comes from. That's silly.
Yeah.
So, any
Any
questions?
questions for Chuck? Okay. Chuck, thank you.
Thanks, yes.
Appreciate it. Next item on the agenda is understanding the 2025 general reappraisal. We have James Gaddy from the tax office with us tonight.
Jamin's numbers changed just a little bit, so that's why she's passing out a revision. It's different from your packet, so.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, thank you for your time. As mentioned, my name is Jamin, tax administrator here for Davie County. Tonight, I'm going to try my best to just kind of update you, where the 2025 reval stands, give you any information that I can, share some numbers with you, and hopefully answer any questions that you may have, okay? So with that, one of the things I like to do is just kind of define what a reappraisal is and why do we do it. Reappraisal is the process of updating values for every parcel of real property, which includes land, buildings, and outbuildings located within the county. What it does not take into consideration is the personal property. Personal property, like motor vehicles, boats, and mobile homes, those items are done yearly. So the real property is done every 4 years, the personal property is done yearly, okay? Why do we do it? Not because we really want to. North Carolina General Statute 105.286 requires all 100 counties across the state to reappraise real property. So in short term or short words, it's the law. We have to do it. As you can see, while it is once every 8 years, subsection 3 does allow for counties to advance reappraisals more frequently. And that's what we've done here in Davie County. The county commissioners passed a resolution years ago to reappraise every 4 years versus 8 years. And it's actually a good thing because the market can be so volatile. You would really want to stay on top of things more routinely. So, while we're governed by standards, we're actually guided by standards. Okay, while we're governed by statutes. We're guided by standards. The IAAO, which stands for International Association of Assessing Officers, was formed in 1934 to train and educate assessment professionals, work towards a more equitable assessment system, and focus on a revision of property tax legislation as a remedy for the Depression, okay? So through the years, they have realized that there's 3 key units of measure that we tend to visualize or realize. One is called a median ratio, one is coefficient of dispersion, and one is a price-related differential. I'll talk a little bit more about the median ratio here in the next few slides, but just kind of give you a quick glance of the coefficient of dispersion. If you've ever gone, let's say turkey shooting, you know how you want that tight shot pattern whenever you're shooting at the target. That's kind of what the dispersion is. You want your numbers to be as tight as possible around that market. Price-related differential is your vertical equity. You want everybody to pay their fair share of taxes, if that makes sense. So that's another unit of measure that we have to look at. And feel free to ask me any questions as we go along. So, with the reappraisal process, where do you start, right? You basically start with a single market or a neighborhood. Right now, we've got the county divided up into about 228 neighborhoods or markets. And what you do is you take a single market, you look at the land, and then you'll start looking at the improvements, and you just put it all together and hope that it works. So, no, I'm just kidding. You just analyze your data, and the data will tell you what to do. So, to kind of give you a couple examples, let's say, for instance, this is Northside Estates. It's a small market, 14 homes, you got 7 sales. So what we would do is we would look and analyze the data. If you look at the column on the left, that is or would be what's considered the current assessed value, right? If you look at the middle column, that's the sale prices, or that's the market values, okay? And if you just take a quick glance, you can see we're already low in this market, right? So we have to make changes. Because if we don't, as time goes on, the folks in this neighborhood here, you know, talking about that vertical equity, they are gonna be not kind of paying their fair share. Make sense? So we take a look at the graph to the right. You can see that our median, or excuse me, yeah, the ratio is 1. We are a little bit below that. So we make changes, and when we do, what we've done now is we've got our assessed values up to where they need to be. Again, if you look at the left, that's the assessed values. The middle is the market. And if you look at our ratios now, our median ratio is about 1.002, which is right where we need to be, okay? Another quick market, let's say Southside Estates, 14 homes, 7 sales again. If you look at the left, we see that our assessed ratio as compared to the market value is actually a little bit high. So if you look at the graph, the folks in this neighborhood would unfortunately be paying more than their fair share of the taxes. So again, we have to make changes. We have to make this neighborhood vertically equitable across, or the best we can. So changes are made, and as you can see, we've got the assessed values kind of where they need to be, with the median ratio of being 1.0. We're always after that 1.0, or as close as we can get it, for any neighborhood throughout the county. One thing that I'd like to make everybody aware of, as you can see just by those 2 quick examples, properties will not change uniformly, okay? Some markets may go up, some markets may go down, some may stay about the same. Honestly, in this reevaluation, I would almost say about all the markets may increase. This has been unique times. You know, ever since the pandemic, home sales are through the roof. You know, I mean, you can watch any channel, you can talk to any loved ones across other counties, and you're gonna see that home prices have risen quite substantially. And unfortunately, it's no difference here in Davie. Kind of bringing it down a little bit just for Mocksville. The total number of sales is about 1,175. Of those, qualified sales or qualified vacant sales is 58, and qualified improved is 589. Not all sales or good sales, as you may think. For instance, you may have sales that's bank owned. You may have foreclosures. You may have estate sales. You know, those type sales tend to transfer a little lower than what the typical market would say they should be worth, okay? So that's why you'll see that the qualified sales don't total to be all the sales.
So the total number of sales, what time period is that?
That is from January 1 of 2021 to current.
Okay.
And we still have roughly, 28 days to go. And it may not sound a lot, but believe it or not, there'll be a lot of deeds being transferred by the end of the year. Everybody seems to wait to the end of the year to transfer deeds. So I think this is what everybody's kind of been waiting on, is where are we at with the numbers. On the left-hand side, is the numbers that I have to report to DOR, the Department of Revenue. DOR wants to know what is the increase or decrease between reappraisal. So when you look at the left side information, that is being compared to 2021, which was the last reevaluation for Davie County. As you can see, for the county, we're about 51.18% up. Mocksville is like 57.62. And you can see Cooley and Bermuda Run is also up. As a taxpayer, I don't really care about 4 years ago. I want to know what's going to be the difference between what I'm paying today and what I'm paying tomorrow. So I throw in the right-hand column because that's exactly what that is. That information is comparing what you're paying this year's 2024 taxes versus what potentially will be next year. So for the county, 39.23, Mocksville 40.54, and then again Cooley and Bermuda Run. Any questions, concerns? This takes Mocksville here and just kind of breaks it down a little more. You can look at residential, commercial, industrial, the office, and what we consider multifamily. You can kind of see the percentages of change there for each individual unit. With those type of numbers, we know there's going to be concerns. So what we're trying to do is promote and educate everyone that there's programs out there that someone may qualify for. An example, some of the exemption programs, elderly and disabled personnel, disabled veterans, and we got what's called a circuit breaker. There's some criteria that you have to meet in order to qualify for these, but if you do, it is a way to help those that qualify by lowering the taxes. The good thing about I should have put exclusion instead of exemption, but the good thing about the number one category is that those are excluded taxes. You never have to pay those back. Okay, if you qualify, it works very well. Land programs, or number two, is more of an exemption programs. If you or loved ones have tracts of land, has to be 10 acres or more, I believe it is, you may qualify to have your taxes exempted until you transfer or sell that property. And even at that time, all you do is pay 3 years of back taxes or full taxes on 3 years, if that makes sense. So if you have the land in a program for 20 years and you sell it, you're only going to pay full taxes on the last 3 years. That's it. So, it saves you, several years of taxes. Worst case scenario, there's a payment plan. Come see us. We know times can be tough. We know there's those folks out there that's on limited income. We'll work with you the best we can. We're not in the business to take property, but I do have to say that is statutorily okay if it ever came down to it. So we would rather work with somebody and try to get these things paid any way we can. So, and then the last thing is appeal. You do have the right as a homeowner to appeal the value. If you disagree with it, we encourage you to appeal. But just always remember, it's never guaranteed to go down. Anytime someone appeals, there's one of three things could happen: stay the same, go down, or even go up. Because what's to say that we may be missing something that should be included in your assessment, right? So how do you appeal? Or first of all, what are some valid reasons to appeal? The market value substantially exceeds the actual market value of the property. Okay, if you can prove to us that we are higher than what the market says you should be at, you've got a good chance of having your assessed value changed, okay? It's inconsistent with similar properties. Now, the key there is the same neighborhood. If you live in Bermuda Run or if you live around here, just be careful of calling and saying, you know, there's a house down in Coolamy that's the same design, built by the same person. That's two different markets. Make sure it's kind of in your neighborhood, because there again, just it needs to be consistent with those homes that are around you, okay? And this is the third bullet point there is probably the biggest one. You know, the information could be inaccurate. You know, these tax records, or I think we've got houses that was built in late 1700s, you know. Through the years, things change. And if the homeowner doesn't tell us that there's been changes to the property, we never know. It just goes on and on and on and on. So one of the things I always encourage people to do, take a look at your tax card. See if it's right, okay? Is the bed count right? Is the bath count right? Square footage, those type things. Some reasons, well, probably the most reasons we get, but may not be the most invalid. Some people just think it went up too much. All you have to do is show us some data that supports your thoughts. It's more than the insurance, or nobody will buy it for that amount. In today's market, you might be surprised at what you can sell your property for. But just to call or just to appeal and say, you know, it's not worth that, while we will accept the appeal, chances of getting something changed are very slim. Okay, you have to show us the numbers, because our data is telling us that we're on the right side. So how do you appeal? As soon as you get your notice, which we hope to send out, if not late January, be early or the first week of February, your notice is your appeal form. If you feel that your value is way too much or not accurate, fill it out and get it to us, and we'll work it as they come in, okay? You can bring it by personally, you can mail it in, you can email it, or, you know, send it through an email as an attachment. We will have a portal opening up on the website that you can do it there. So there will be different ways to get an appeal to us, all right? And again, like I said, end of January, early February, because we have deeds transferring all the way up until December the 31st. So we still will have some loose ends that we have to tie up, and it'll probably take us a couple of weeks into January, maybe 3. There will be instructions provided with the notice, you know, as to how to fill it out and get it to us. One of the things I'm trying to get everybody to know that's around nowadays, Davie County actually has a new app. The tax office is a part of the app. And what I'm gonna do is leave the paper here. It's got a QR code on it. All you gotta do is scan it. Matter of fact, I think you just did it. Scan it, upload the app, and it's not just the tax office, it's several of the departments throughout the county. It's a good way to keep updated with some of the information or any changes that's taking place. A lot of the reval information will be on here or inside the app. You can also have access to the website, which gives you, if you never had a chance to visit, I encourage you to go visit. You know, it talks about the land use programs, it talks about the exemptions, it talks about the exclusions, all of those programs. So you can go straight to the website, or you can use this app to help you out. So. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any question.
Any questions for Mr. Gaddy. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Okay, our next item on the agenda tonight is our Family Promise presentation. We have Carolyn Armsworthy, Vice Chair of the Family Promise Board.
Thank you. Lisa Foster, our executive director, was going to be here tonight. She had something come up and wasn't able to be here, so she asked me. So thank you all for the opportunity to share about Family Promise, the services that we provide, and a little update on a project that we have going on. So as Will said, my name is Carolyn Armsworthy. I am the vice chair of our board this year. And we serve families in Davie County who are experiencing homelessness. So note that I said families. Our services are available to people with children. It can be single adults, but there have to be children in the family. And we serve families in 3 ways. So we have an emergency assistance fund where we help people stay in their homes. We also have a shelter program where families come in and stay in our facility and accept our services and the programs that we offer. And then we have transitional housing. So that is for families who have graduated from our program and are ready to take the next step into living on their own, but aren't ready to fully move into a house. So we're able to walk with them through that. They do pay a percentage of rent that's based on their income while they're in transitional housing until they're ready to graduate fully from our program and move out on their own. Once they graduate from our program, they do stay connected to our team for 1 year. So we follow our families, we make sure that they stay housed and help them with anything that could come up, because as you all know, occasionally there are unexpected things that could happen that would prevent them from staying in their home, and we want to make sure that that can be eliminated if possible. So we have served Davie County as an affiliate of Family Promise National since 2017. And this year, we served our 1,000th family, which is really exciting for us. And so that could be the people that we helped to stay in their home, or people that we helped through our program transition back into housing. We have an exciting project going on that some of you might know about, and that is that we are looking to expand our day center into a static site so that we can serve more families at one time. A common question that we get about this is, are we wanting to build a homeless shelter in Davie County? And the answer to that is no. We are just looking to build a larger facility so that we can serve more families at one time. Currently, we can serve 2 families in our current facility and then 2 families in transitional housing because we have 2 transitional homes. But we are looking to build a larger facility on Depot Street. We were gifted some land and are working through, let me look at my notes so I can tell you this correctly. We have done an environmental review that's been completed and submitted to HUD for final approval. We're hoping to get that approval by the end of the year, and then we can begin demoing the bus garage that is on that property and clear the land. John Fuller is helping us with some drawings for that new building, and he's kind of finalizing that for us. So hopefully things will start moving a little faster soon. This has been a long time coming, and we're really excited for this to happen. But I think that's everything I have to share. Does anybody have any questions or anything about Family Promise?
Any questions for Carlin? Well, I know you guys have spent a lot of time and a lot of work on that
Yes.
project. I'm looking forward to something happening, and our board is particularly fond of Depot Street and making sure things go good down on Depot Street. So thank you
Yes.
for improving that area.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you guys for the time, and we have a website and all the social media, so if you think of anything that you want to know about us, feel free to check us out.
Thank you, Carlin. Okay, next item on our agenda, Lynn Trivett recognizing Emily.
I would like Emily to come up here, please. I don't know if you know, if you've read the article written by Gina's company, Wordmaster Media Group. When you have a chance to read it, it's an awesome article. It's on our website, and it's been on social media. But I wanted to do a little recognizing myself. Emily's been a deputy clerk for 3.5 years, and her professional development plan includes transitioning to town clerk after my retirement in 2026. I'm proud to say Emily has completed 120 hours of education requirements specified by the International Institute of Municipal Clerks for designation as a certified municipal clerk, and the North Carolina Association of Municipal Clerks. And Emily, your work has always exceeded expectations and has meaningfully contributed to the town's success. We want you to know we are super proud of what you do, and your contributions are always valued. So I take pride as your mentor in being able to present you with your original, your CMC pin and your original certificate tonight, dated November the 6th of 24, as your certified municipal clerk.
Emily, can you come in front of the podium so we can take pictures? Hold up your certificate.
Emily, did you want to say anything?
I just feel very blessed and honored, and I love the town of Mocksville. I love working here, and I will be proud to serve when my time comes as a town clerk. So, but I appreciate everybody. I appreciate Lynn. I appreciate Ken. I appreciate all of y'all and all the department heads. They're just wonderful people to work with. So thank you very, very much. I'm very humbled. Thank you.
Thank you. And next, Lynn will be recognizing Raina Gaither.
This was sort of unexpected. Her development plan is a member of the North Carolina Finance Officers Certification Program. And during her development in the last couple of years, we were under the impression that once she completes her finance courses that I was thinking that it was one big exam. But come to find out, she just passed her first exam for cash management, and she has 3 more to go. And so it's 4 exams instead of one big one. So now she has 3, but I just felt like I needed to recognize her since her grades just come in the other week. So 1 down, 3 to go.
Bye, Raina.
And I want to thank the board and the manager for their support in continuing our education / our professional development in our staff. And it's much appreciated by me and all of the departments. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Lynn. Looking on our agenda, our next item is to approve the consent agenda. You've got that in front of you. We just need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
A
Second.
motion from Justin, a second from Rob. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. There's no old business tonight. Under new business, item number A, consider adopting purchase and procurement policy resolution. I'm going to ask Raina to come back up.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. Thank you for your time. So there are 4 agenda items this evening that the Board will be taking action on, and I would like to outline these items for you. The first agenda item will be on page 71. This will be in regards to adopting a purchase and procurement policy resolution. The second agenda item will be on page 72, and this will be a revision to the purchase policy. The third agenda item is on page 86, and this will be adopting the fund balance resolution. And lastly, fund balance policy is on page 87. Now, the purpose of the purchase and procurement policy is to establish clear guidelines for purchases of goods, services, and construction or repair projects when federal funds are used, in whole or in part, to cover the cost of contracts. These policies ensures that all purchasing decisions are made with transparency, efficiency, as well as accountability. By sticking to these guidelines, we can streamline our purchasing process, ensuring compliance with regulations, and support the organization's overall goals. Following these policies will help us maintain integrity in our purchasing practice and maximize the effective use of resources. Are there any questions on the purchase and procurement policy?
Raina, do you want us to do these as you read them as far as the motion to adopt?
Yes, please, sorry.
So at this time, board, on the, consider adopting purchase and procurement policy resolution, we'll need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
A motion from Justin, a second from Carl. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So that passes. Now you can move on.
The fund balance policy is designed to set minimum fund balance levels for the general fund to provide the financial flexibility needed to meet future obligations and enhance the town's financial position. It also addresses the need for planning contingencies, such as natural disasters, ensuring there are sufficient reserves to manage unexpected costs. In addition, this policy aims to generate investment income, diversify revenue streams, and reduce our reliance on taxes. Maintaining a healthy fund balance is vital for the financial stability of our organization, as it allows us to meet future needs and manage unforeseen expenses, support long-term growth. As our auditor had mentioned, for FY 23-24, our unassigned fund balance for the general fund was over $9.9 million, which is 160% of the total general fund expenditures. Both of these policies play a critical role in safeguarding the organization's financial health and ensuring the responsible management of our resources. Are there any questions on that policy?
So before we move on, we're gonna go to number B, where it says consider adopting the amended purchase and procurement policy. That's okay. So if the board, you'll notice item number A, which you just approved, was consider adopting the purchase and procurement policy. You just approved that. Item number B is to consider adopting the amended purchase and procurement policy.
Move we approve
We have
that.
a motion from Rob, second from Jenny. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? That passes. And you just mentioned item number C, which was consider adopting the fund balance policy resolution.
Move we approve.
We have a motion from Rob and a second from Jenny. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And then finally, item number D is to consider adopting the fund balance policy. We'll just need a motion to adopt the fund balance.
Motion to adopt it.
Have a motion from Jenny,
Second.
a second from Rob. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raina. Okay, item number E, consider approving a 3% retention bonus. Ken?
Yes, Mayor and Board, members of the public, you all heard what Eddie had to say about the town's finances. We're in excellent shape. And in keeping with the professional development that you've heard about with Emily and Raina, staff is continually excelling for the town and in their individual departments. Based on that, we are bringing a proposal to do a 3% retention bonus. And what this would do for all employees who work for the town as of July 24th through June 30th, there would be a bonus. The reasoning behind this is our retention rate, our retention goal is 90% or above in any given year, and our 3-year trend has us down to 84%. So we want to address that and make sure staff knows not only that we value you, and staff does know that the board values their service, but this is a way for us to also have a tool in our toolbox where we can give staff incentive to stay on board.
So any questions for Ken or any comments? We have a motion from Jenny to approve. Second from Justin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Item number F, consider the adoption of the 2025 Town Board meeting schedule. Lynn?
Yes, this is the calendar that y'all normally vote on, for the year 25. For all the board meetings for the year.
Okay. Any questions about the calendar for next year?
And you've already included our first budget retreat? Okay.
Yes.
It's on page 91 in your folder.
I believe, Commissioner, that there's a separate budget
Yeah,
calendar.
there's a separate budget. The town meeting schedules, pages 91 and 92.
Right.
That's your regular, budget meetings.
It's a regular board meetings.
Yeah, regular. board
There's a
meetings.
budget retreat on that one for February 15th, Saturday.
8 a.m. Right.
But we can change it anytime during the year
Right.
if a problem.
Okay.
Just need a motion to approve. Motion from Justin, a second from Jenny. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. And finally, item number G, consider the approval of the budget calendar, which is on page 93.
So moved.
Motion from Justin, a second from Carl. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes. Item number H, consider Mocksville Planning Board applicant for board reappointment for a 3-year term expiring December 2027. Lynn.
Yeah, this is on your pages 94, 95, 96. We have an applicant, that would like to be reappointed, Chris Deminsky, for a 3-year term, ending expiring December 27. But I also want to, emphasize there's 2, vacancies. So, there was one that did not want to be, reappointed, and I think Lee wants to be, what was I say? He would not like to serve anymore. But, so that's 2 vacancies if you know of anybody that would like to be on the planning board.
So 2 vacancies on top of Chris Demansky. He's going back on.
After Chris is
There's 2
reappointed.
now.
Yes.
Let's definitely get Chris vote.
So we just need a motion to reappoint Chris Demansky.
So moved.
A motion from Rob, second from Justin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So we will be on the lookout for 2 more planning board members. Item number I, consider authorizing Chief Carter to apply for staffing adequate fire and safety response. Frank?
Mayor, member of the council, just asking for your guys' permission again tonight to reapply for SAFER in the upcoming year. The company that we used last year, they're offering us a 50% discount. We use them again. I've spoken to a couple, half a dozen fire chiefs around the state, and they're all telling me consistency is the key. If we keep applying, we're more likely to receive the award. So I'm just asking for, you let me do it again. The cost of the application resubmission will be $3,000. And I think we have that in our budget this year.
Any questions for Frank on this? If not, then we have a motion from Jenny,
Second.
second from Rob. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have 1 in opposition, so it passes 4-1. Carl is in opposition. Okay. Moving on to item number J, consider the agreement for professional services between the town of Mocksville and Willis Engineers. I've got Willis, Chuck Willis. So is Chuck making that presentation for?
I think the manager probably.
I was fine with you making. You all have heard Chuck describing the project. But we do have to enter into a separate professional services agreement with him on the interconnection project. That's what you have before you now. It's the standard formatting for that.
Okay.
So would ask that you approve that so Chuck can get to work on
Okay.
getting that project.
We don't have anybody else that wants to do that, I don't guess.
We don't have anybody else. We would rather do that.
So we just need a motion to approve Chuck and Willis Engineer Services.
So moved.
A motion from Rob? A second from Jenny. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Chuck. We appreciate all you do for us.
Glad to be of service.
Okay, item number K, consider selection of engineer for Mocksville Sidewalk Connectivity Project. Ken.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is the selection of the engineer to do the design and the different engineering services for the sidewalk connectivity project. We submitted I sent out an RFQ on September 30th of this year to Davis Martin Powell, Highfield Infrastructure Engineering, Hazen and Sawyer, LJB Engineering, JMT Engineering, and also posted it on the website and sent it out on the listserv. We only received two RFQs in response to that. After scoring those, I am recommending JMT Engineering and Planning to be awarded to be selected as the engineer. They will, if the board selects them, they will bring a agreement for professional services to the January meeting.
Okay. Any questions for Ken on this? If not, we just need a motion to approve JMT Engineering. So moved. Motion from Carl. Second from Justin. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? That passes. And finally, item number L, consider the amendment to Chapter 5, Article 2, Mocksville Code of Ordinances. Ken.
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners, I've received a lot of feedback about this ordinance, and we've received, as you all know, we've received a lot of citizen complaints about the burning associated with land clearing. After getting feedback from the board, I have drafted changes to the ordinance, and Al has approved those changes, which would remove that exception, that ability for a builder to get a permit to build, to burn either construction waste, which you can't do anyway, or yard waste resulting from clearing of property. But that would remove that as an ability throughout the entire town in the corporate limits.
And that is something that other municipalities practice.
Yes, it's not uncommon for more developed areas to have these type of burn bans. And it is an air quality issue, and as you all know, we did hear quite a bit from residents and businesses in the area when it was going on.
Okay. Any questions for Ken on this ordinance? If not, we just need a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Motion from Rob.
Second.
Second from Justin. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? That passes. No other new business. Moving to communications from town staff. Al, do you have anything to communicate?
I have two things to communicate, Mayor. Breaking with tradition, and since it's the holiday season, I will talk tonight. The town functions better when it has qualified professional staff. I work with around 30 municipalities or municipal organizations across the state, and Mocksville is blessed to have good professional staff, as you saw tonight, with Raina passing the test and Emily getting CMC qualified. I have to say that Ken has been one of my favorite managers to work with over the years, and I, for one, will be very sorry to see him go. And I had hoped in my heart of hearts that I would retire before Ken, but that didn't work out. And the other thing I have to mention is I will not be here on January 7th, but another lawyer from the Bro Law Firm will be here.
Okay. Thank you, Al. Anything else? Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. So Ken, communications.
I just have one or two brief things, Mayor. Number one, as a consolation parting prize, I will let you know that cookout is coming to the old Sagebrush property. They have been sending their designs back and forth to get approval. I know the chief's seen them, I've seen them, and so at some point they will be building a restaurant there at that location. The other thing I wanted to say kind of tacks on to what Al says, and I've been in public service for over 35 years. I have been so blessed to work with amazing people and have just the most phenomenal career experiences.
and I can honestly say that this has been my favorite place to work. I have loved working here. I love the community. I love the department heads. I love working with you all on the board. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to do this job 3.5 years ago. I'm not leaving because there's anything wrong with the town. You all know the reasons for the retirement, but I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me this opportunity. And all of you, I am so proud of you and how much you've grown in the time I've been here. And I know that the town's gonna be great. You're in great hands with your department heads. We have a great board that works well together, and it's just a great combination. So finding that right manager is your next step, and I see nothing but good things for the town.
Thank you, Ken. Communications from the board, Jenny?
Just like to say, thank you to all the different, what am I trying to say? Departments in the town. I thank y'all for all your work that you do. Want to say congratulations to Raina. You got 3 more, go ahead. And even Miss Emily, congratulations. I told you last month, but congratulations. Would like to say, Ken, I'm gonna miss you, but congratulations on your retirement coming up. And I remember the first, I think it was your meet and greet up at the, I was taking my dog for a ride and I rode by and I said, "Erk," and pulled over and I just got out and I said, "I'm Jenny Stevenson. What are you gonna bring to Mocksville?" And you done exactly what you said. So I appreciate you. And just like to say Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope you have a happy holiday.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Great job to all the department heads. We've had a good year. Looking forward to another one. Ken, you've been fantastic. You have captained our ship magnificently over the last 3.5 years through some very troubled times at the beginning. And we just appreciate everything. You've been the most professional manager we've ever had. Just wish you luck.
Carl. Merry Christmas to everyone and Happy New Year as it is upon us. Commander, appreciate all you've done.
Yeah, Ken, we definitely appreciate everything you've done, and congratulations, and Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right, Ken. I've enjoyed working with you, and hope you the best in the future, and also the job that you've done here. And wish everybody here a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year.
Thank you, Johnny. Just a couple things, Jeanette, the bed races, I've heard lots of good positive feedback on the bed races. Thank you to the
Awesome job.
the Public Works for all you do at those events, and for all that goes on in the town of Mocksville. We have a lot to be proud of. There's a couple things. Dr. Slate, who was the former mayor of Mocksville for many years, I served on the town board when he was mayor. He passed away last Wednesday, and there's going to be a memorial service this Friday at 2:00 at Davie Funeral. So if you would like to attend that, that would be appreciated by his family and the town of Mocksville. If anybody on the town board would like to be in the parade this coming Saturday, please let Jeanette know so she can get you all settled up there at the front of the parade. And then finally, Ken, I appreciate all that you did for Mocksville. Just like Rob said, we have been through some tough times. You came into us at a time when we were needing some leadership, and you stepped up and really helped us out. I appreciate all that you've done. You've brought our entire staff with the town of Mocksville up to a level that we were not used to, and I look forward to seeing where the next person will take it to. So thank you for all you did for us. I was just like Al. I was hoping to be the one that retired before Ken. So, but Ken's getting out at a good time. He's going out on top, which is good. So we appreciate all that you've done, and I look forward to working with you in the future at some point in time. Maybe you can come back and be a part of different things here in Mocksville. So, but at this time, we do need to go into executive session, closed session. I need somebody to make that motion.
We do enter closed session pursuant to NCGS 143-318.11 to preserve attorney-client privilege and discuss personnel.
We have a motion from Rob, second from Jenny. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thanks for coming.